Have you ever wondered why you keep dating the same kind of person? Or why you pull away when someone gets too close, even if you want connection? What if I told you the answers might be hidden in your childhood? This isn't just pop psychology. This is real, research-backed insight into how your early relationships with your caregivers, your parents, your guardians, shape almost everything about your adult emotional life. It's called attachment theory. And once you understand it, your entire life story starts to make a lot more sense. Imagine a baby, just a few months old, crying out in a crib. Now picture two different scenes. In the first, a parent comes quickly, picks the baby up, soothes them, and helps them calm down. In the second, no one comes. Or maybe they come angry, annoyed, or only sometimes. These early moments, these little moments repeated day after day, are where your emotional blueprint is formed. Your brain is literally learning, is the world safe? Can I trust others? Will my needs be met? That blueprint becomes your attachment style. And unless something changes later, you carry that style into adulthood, into your friendships, your romantic life, your work relationships. Let's break it down simply. Attachment theory is a psychological framework developed by British psychologist John Bowlby in the mid-20th century. The basic idea? The way we bond with our caregivers as infants shapes the way we connect with others throughout our entire lives. Going back to the baby crying scenario, if the caregiver responds with warmth, comfort, and consistency, the baby learns something powerful. The world is safe, people can be trusted, and emotions are manageable. This child is likely to develop a secure attachment. But if the caregiver is cold, inconsistent, overly controlling, or emotionally unavailable, the child adapts in different ways. These adaptations turn into attachment styles that influence our adult relationships, whether we're aware of them or not. At its core, attachment theory is about survival. As babies, we're completely dependent. Our emotional and physical needs are met or not by someone else. So we develop emotional strategies to stay connected and safe, even if those strategies cause problems later in life. This isn't just about what happened to you as a baby, though. Your early environment, how emotions were expressed, how conflict was handled, how affection was shown, builds an emotional blueprint. That blueprint becomes the lens through which you see love, trust, and connection. And here's the key. Even though it starts in childhood, attachment patterns can evolve. We're not doomed by our past. With awareness and healing, we can form healthier connections and even earn secure attachment. So why does this matter? Because if you've ever wondered why you sabotage relationships, fear intimacy, push people away, or cling too tightly, it might be your attachment style running the show. Let's break down the 4 main attachment styles in the simplest way possible. These styles are like emotional blueprints we form in childhood that shape how we connect with people as adults. 1. Secure attachment. This is the healthiest and most balanced style. People with secure attachment trust easily, are comfortable with intimacy, and can depend on others without becoming clingy or avoidant. They grew up with caregivers who were consistent and responsive. So their inner story sounds like, I'm worthy of love and I can trust others. In relationships, they're usually good communicators. They don't play games, and they're not afraid of emotional closeness. They also give space when needed without freaking out. 2. Anxious attachment. People with anxious attachment often crave closeness, but constantly fear abandonment. Their inner voice says, I'm not enough, or they're going to leave me. They might overthink texts, feel insecure when someone pulls away, or try too hard to please their partner. This usually comes from inconsistent caregiving. Sometimes their emotional needs were met, and sometimes they weren't, so they never knew what to expect. 3. Avoidant attachment. These people are often fiercely independent and uncomfortable with too much closeness. They might say things like, I don't need anyone, but deep down, it's a defense mechanism. Avoidant attachment usually develops when a child's emotional needs were ignored or minimized, so they learn to rely only on themselves. In relationships, they might pull away when things get emotional, have trouble expressing feelings, or feel smothered by intimacy. 4. Fearful avoidant, disorganized. Attachment. This one is a mix of both anxious and avoidant. People with this style want love, but they're deeply afraid of it at the same time. Their inner dialogue sounds like, "Come close, but not too close." This style often comes from traumatic or chaotic early experiences, where caregivers were both a source of comfort and fear. As adults, they might struggle with trust, have intense mood swings in relationships, or push people away right when they need them most. Understanding these styles helps you see your relationship patterns more clearly, and it also helps you give yourself a bit more compassion, because once you know your style, you can start making changes. Sometimes the best way to understand attachment theory is to see it in action. Let's walk through some everyday scenarios that show how these attachment styles play out in real life. Scenario 1. The text message spiral. Anxious attachment. Emma sends a message to her partner, but he doesn't respond for a few hours. Her mind goes into overdrive. Did I do something wrong? Is he mad at me? Is he losing interest? Emma starts anxiously checking her phone every 5 minutes, rereading the message, and thinking about sending a follow-up text just to check in. What's happening? Her anxious attachment style is flaring up. She's not just reacting to the silence, she's reacting to a deeper fear of abandonment, planted in childhood by inconsistent attention or emotional availability. Scenario 2. The need for space, avoidant attachment. Jake has been dating someone for a few months, and things are going well. But as soon as his partner starts talking about deeper feelings, Jake starts feeling trapped. He suddenly gets busy with work, stops replying to messages as quickly, and finds excuses to avoid plans. This is a classic avoidant pattern. Jake may not consciously realize it, but his discomfort with emotional closeness is a defense mechanism. As a child, he might have been taught, directly or indirectly, that needing others was a sign of weakness. Scenario 3. The push-pull cycle, fearful avoidant. Sarah wants love more than anything, but every time someone gets close, she panics. She'll open up deeply one day, then ghost the next. She's caught in an emotional tug-of-war, yearning for connection, but terrified of being hurt. This is the hallmark of fearful avoidant attachment. It often comes from trauma or environments where love and danger were closely tied. Scenario 4. The calm in the storm, secure attachment. Then there's Alex. His partner is having a tough week and lashes out during an argument. Instead of shutting down or getting defensive, Alex listens. He sets a boundary respectfully, checks in with his partner afterward, and they work through it together. Alex has secure attachment. He doesn't see conflict as a threat to the relationship. He knows how to stay grounded and emotionally available, even when things get hard. He learned, early on or later in life, that love doesn't have to come with fear or instability. These real-life examples aren't meant to label or shame. They're mirrors to help us see ourselves more clearly. And the beauty of it is, once you spot the pattern, you can start to shift it. So, why does all of this really matter? Why should we care about attachment theory, or how our childhood experiences shaped us? Because this is about more than just psychology. It's about your everyday life, your relationships, your ability to trust, to connect, to love, and to be loved. When we don't understand our attachment style, we end up repeating the same emotional cycles over and over again. We pick partners who reinforce our childhood wounds. We push people away when they get too close. We overthink every text message, fear abandonment at the smallest sign of distance, or shut down completely when things get real. But when we do understand our attachment style, when we become conscious of where it came from and how it shows up, we give ourselves the power to change our story. This matters because attachment is the foundation of almost everything in adult life. It impacts how we parent, how we show up at work, how we deal with conflict, and how we handle rejection. If we don't heal our attachment wounds, we risk passing them down to the next generation without even realizing it. This isn't about blaming our parents or staying stuck in the past. It's about awareness. It's about reclaiming control. Because when we understand the why behind our behaviors, we can start making conscious choices instead of living on autopilot. And perhaps most importantly, this matters because everyone deserves to feel safe in love. Everyone deserves to experience connection without fear, to be seen without shame, to be held without conditions. Understanding your attachment style is the first step toward creating that kind of life, not just for yourself, but for the people you love. This is why it matters, because healing your past can unlock your future. Now let's zoom in on what's actually happening inside your brain when it comes to attachment. Because this isn't just about emotions, it's biology too. When you're a baby, your brain is literally shaped by the care you receive. If your caregivers were consistent, nurturing, and responsive, your nervous system learned that the world is safe. Your brain formed neural pathways that said, when I need something, someone shows up. That creates a secure attachment. But if your caregivers were unpredictable, distant, or even emotionally unavailable, your brain had to adapt in a different way. Maybe you learned to shut down your feelings to protect yourself. Maybe you learned to become hyper-aware of others' moods, always trying to earn love or avoid punishment. These adaptations are brilliant for survival, but they come with a cost later in life. This is where the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex come into play. The amygdala is your brain's fear center. It scans for danger, including emotional threats like rejection or abandonment. In insecure attachment styles, the amygdala is often more sensitive. It's been trained to expect something to go wrong. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, reasoning, and self-regulation, sometimes struggles to keep up. That's why, in moments of conflict, you might find yourself reacting automatically, feeling overwhelmed, or saying things you later regret. Your brain is wired for a threat that may not even be real in the present moment. But here's the powerful part. Your brain can change. This is called neuroplasticity. It means that even if you developed certain patterns early in life, they're not set in stone. New, healthier relationships can literally rewire your brain. Secure bonds later in life, whether through a partner, a friend, or a therapist, can teach your nervous system a new story. I'm safe now. I can relax. I'm loved. Even practices like mindfulness, journaling, and breathwork help calm the amygdala and strengthen the prefrontal cortex. That means you become more able to pause, reflect, and choose how you respond, instead of just reacting. So yes, your attachment style has a deep emotional layer, but there's also a science to it. And understanding how your brain works makes healing feel a lot less mysterious and a lot more possible. So now we've made it all the way to the core truth. Your attachment style isn't your destiny, it's your starting point. And the good news? You can change. You can break the cycle. But let's be real, this doesn't happen overnight. Healing attachment wounds takes time, courage, and patience, especially with yourself. The first step is simply becoming aware of your pattern. You've got to recognize what's actually going on under the surface. Ask yourself, why do I react like this in relationships? Why do I shut down when things get hard? Why do I chase after people who pull away? Start journaling your experiences. Talk to someone you trust. Consider therapy, especially with someone trained in attachment-based or trauma-informed approaches. Therapy isn't about fixing you. It's about helping you understand your story and giving you tools to write the next chapter differently. Here's something else that's key. Build relationships that feel safe. This doesn't mean finding a perfect partner. It means being with someone who is emotionally available, consistent, and willing to grow alongside you. Secure attachments can be learned in adulthood, but only through real experiences of trust, care, and emotional safety. It's like muscle memory. You learn what love should feel like by living it. Also, learn to self-soothe. When your inner child is screaming for validation, learn to sit with that part of yourself. Offer compassion, not criticism. Speak to yourself the way a secure parent would. I know you're scared, but I'm here. You're safe. You're loved. Breaking the cycle also means reparenting yourself. You might not have gotten what you needed growing up, but now, as an adult, You can give it to yourself. You can create boundaries. You can speak your truth. You can learn to stay even when things get uncomfortable. This part of the journey is about reclaiming your power. It's about no longer letting your past control your present. Yes, your childhood shaped you, but it doesn't have to define you. Healing is possible, change is real, and the future is wide open. Even with all this knowledge, many people still stay stuck in their old patterns. And it's not because they're lazy or weak, it's because change requires a lot of work and discipline, and the past is familiar. See, the human brain is wired for efficiency. It clings to what it knows, even if it's painful. If someone grew up believing love means walking on eggshells, they'll keep repeating that pattern. Not because they like it, but because it feels normal. Safe even. That's the paradox. What's familiar feels safe, even when it's harmful. Another big reason people stay stuck is shame. Many adults carry the deep belief that they are somehow too broken to be loved. So, when healthier relationships show up, they push them away, or they sabotage them without even realizing it. Shame says, "You don't deserve this." There's also fear. Fear of being vulnerable, of getting hurt, of facing the truth. Healing means confronting pain we've buried for years. That can be terrifying. Some people would rather stay numb than risk feeling that pain. Then there's loyalty to the past. It sounds strange, but many people feel guilty for growing beyond their upbringing. They think changing means betraying their family. So they keep playing the same role they had as a kid. The fixer, the peacekeeper, the invisible one, even when it's suffocating. And finally, not everyone has access to the resources they need. Therapy costs money, time, emotional energy. Not everyone lives in a place where help is available. So even when the desire to heal is there, the path forward isn't always clear. But here's the hopeful part. Even small shifts can lead to big changes. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to take one honest step. Maybe that's reading a book, watching a video like this, saying no for the first time, or allowing yourself to cry for something you were told didn't matter, and knowing that this is okay. The truth is, everyone has the ability to change, but you have to want it more than you fear it, and you have to believe deep down that you're worth the effort. So what does secure attachment actually look like, and why is it so powerful? Imagine being in a relationship where you can speak your truth without fear, where you're not walking on eggshells or waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's what secure attachment gives you. It creates a foundation of emotional safety where both people feel seen, heard, and accepted. When you're securely attached, you don't fear abandonment or intimacy. You're not constantly scanning for danger in your relationships. Instead, you trust that others have your back, and you feel comfortable offering that same trust in return. It doesn't mean you're perfect or never argue. It means you repair and reconnect instead of pushing each other away or shutting down. In practical terms, this looks like being able to express needs without guilt. It's showing up for your partner, not because you're afraid they'll leave, but because you genuinely care. It's allowing others to care for you without feeling weak or needy. The power of secure attachment extends beyond romantic relationships. It helps in friendships, parenting, work dynamics, even how you treat yourself. Because when your internal belief is, "I'm worthy of love and I can trust others," everything changes. You set healthier boundaries. You pursue your goals with more confidence. You bounce back from rejection faster. And here's the most beautiful part. You don't need a perfect childhood to develop secure attachment. You can earn it later in life. That might come through a healing relationship, therapy, faith, or your own inner work. It's called earned secure attachment, and it means you've done the work to rewire those early emotional patterns. If you're a parent, cultivating secure attachment in your child is one of the greatest gifts you can give. It starts with being emotionally available, consistent, and responsive. It doesn't mean being perfect. It means being present and attuned. In a world where many people walk around with invisible wounds, secure attachment is like emotional armor. It gives you resilience, emotional intelligence, and the capacity for deep, meaningful connection. And the best part, it's never too late to develop it. So if you've ever felt broken, needy, distant, or just confused about why your relationships look the way they do, you're not alone, and you're not doomed. Attachment theory gives us a map. It shows us how we got here, and more importantly, how to move forward. Because healing isn't about fixing yourself. It's about remembering who you were before the world taught you to hide. If this video helped you, give it a like, leave a comment about your experience, and subscribe for more psychology explained simply. Thanks for watching, and remember, your story isn't over. You're just starting to understand the first chapter. We'll see you in the next video.